one more time.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and welcome to the State of the Saints podcast. And this is the final thoughts from the Week 5 matchup, New Orleans Saints and the Los Angeles Chargers. Very back and forth, high, you know what I'm saying? Like high anticipation. This was one of those edges of your seat type games, and the New Orleans Saints got the victory by a score of 30-27. We're going to be talking about what have we learned from this game and some of the things the Saints need to do to go forward and build on this momentum. Okay. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that's chiming in, that's filing into the chat right now. I also want to say thank you to all those that are watching live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Last night on the post-game show, I know some of you probably checked it out, but I wasn't really happy at what I saw from the New Orleans Saints. And, you know, I'm looking this morning, people, inboxing me, they're leaving comments, they're asking me, why am I so angry? You know, why am I so frustrated? We won. We should be happy that we won. Look, I'm just going to make this plain and simple. All right. Look, it's morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm recording this on a Tuesday morning. We just going to have a conversation here today. All right. We just going to have a conversation because I think people need to understand where I'm coming from. All right. I would never be happy with mediocrity. I'm going to say that again. I will never be happy with mediocrity. Now, maybe some of you are happy with mediocrity as long as they win. That's fine. I mean, that's your prerogative. That's your choice. But when you watch a team that has the capability of being one of the best teams in all of football, to be one of those teams like a Seattle Seahawks and like a Green Bay Packers team being undefeated, and you watch this team just go out there and play down to the competition, go out there and have slow starts, go out there and watch the defense just get roasted and toasted all over the field. I mean, it just frustrates you. It frustrates you. I said it last night and I will say it again. I am a Saints fan first. All right. When I do these shows, you guys are getting a very up close and personal look at my passion. All right. I'm a podcaster second. Okay. I mean, this is just icing on the cake. I get to do a podcast, talk about my favorite team, but I love the New Orleans Saints. And right now, the New Orleans Saints aren't playing really good football. And anybody that's the biggest New Orleans Saints supporter, you have to agree with that. All right. They got the victory last night. I think we all happy about that. I mean, they're top of the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers, and that's fine. But I'm not happy at what I'm seeing because I just think that it's only a matter of time before this whole situation blows up in their faces. I look at somebody like Dennis Allen, man, who just don't seem to get it, who just don't seem to understand the players that he has, or maybe he doesn't understand what he's asking these players to do. I don't know if these players don't have it. They can't register it, but it's his job to make sure that he can simplify a defense or get guys on the field that can actually run his type of defense, because right now, this defensive secondary looks absolutely horrid. This is the worst secondary in football. This is the worst secondary in football. Most of the time, anytime a pass is thrown downfield, it's rather going to be pass interference or a big play. It doesn't matter what type of technique they're running. They can be right there pressed on the wide receiver. The catch going to be made. They can be right around the ball. The catch going to be made. Wide receiver's going to run right past them. It's just absolutely embarrassing year in, year out, the way that this secondary performs. And I just think that the Saints need to go in a different direction. I mean, I've seen enough. I mean, honestly, I have seen enough. I've seen enough of Dennis Allen, and I've seen enough of Aaron Glenn. And unless this team is just about to turn it around and they about to channel their inner 85 Bears or their 2000 Ravens, there's nothing that they can show me that would change my mind about Dennis Allen and Aaron Glenn. This stuff right here, this is a recipe of getting somebody fired. Okay, I'm talking about head coaches. This is the type of stuff that will get you fired. Watching this team go out there and get, roasted, exposed all over the field. Like this is embarrassing, folks. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? It is absolutely embarrassing the way that this team is performing in the secondary. And yes, Marshall Lattimore made the tackle that won the game last night. But look, I guess you can say, you're probably looking at the glass half empty. I'm looking at the glass half full, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like this team plays down to the competition. I feel like this team is much better than they're showing. And I just can't figure it out. I just can't figure it out. And it's only a matter of time. Like you can be the biggest Saint fan in the world. But I'm telling you right now, I'm being as real as I possibly can be. You're setting yourself up for disappointment and heartbreak if you're just ignoring the fact that this team has struggled and they just end up getting victories, because that's the same way. That's what happened last year. They were 13-3, and we people were like, "Oh man, well they're 13-3," but those problems were showing themselves. You know what I'm saying? There was like leaks. You know what I'm saying? There was like leaks in the boat of the New Orleans Saints, and in the playoffs they got exposed. Okay, so I just think that it's a matter of time. It might not even be in a regular season. They might coast through a regular season, double-digit wins, and people will probably say, TJ, you eating crow, this, that, and the third. But when they get to the playoffs and everybody buckles down and everybody focuses on your shortcomings and your limitations, they're going to get exposed. And I'm sorry, folks. I wish I could sit up here and clap and say hooray and say who that, but that's not the type of show I'm running here, okay? You ask me to be as honest as I can, I do. You tell me to be as real as I can, I do, okay? So I'm not going to change just because the Saints won a game. I critique this team at what I see. If they have a star-studded performance, then I have no problem coming on the show and saying that they had a star-studded performance. But I'm not going to pretend I didn't see what I saw last night just because the Saints got the victory. I think that you're being naive if you're looking at it that way. I just think that it's just a matter of time before it blows up in our faces. And I'm tired of these situations blowing up in my face. I'm tired of coming on here, State of the Saints podcast, in a playoff game, on a game that matters most, and I'm watching the same thing happen. The Saints going toe-to-toe with some of the elite teams in the league. They're going back and forth. The offense is at an all-time high. The offense of the opposing team at an all-time high. And all of a sudden, Drew Brees gets the go-ahead lead, only to leave about 30 seconds on the clock for the defense to screw it up, being out of position, not being able to locate the ball, out there getting roasted and toasted. I mean, we have seen this situation over and over again. And if you're happy with that, if you're just okay that you can go into your local barbershops, you can go into your local mall, or you can go to work and talk to your friend that's probably a fan of another team, and you're happy because the Saints got the victory, that's fine. That's cool. That's your choice once again. But as for me, I want to see the Saints win the Super Bowl. It would be a damn shame. It would be a damn shame, Who Dat Nation, if the New Orleans Saints had all this talent over the last 4 to 5 years and they have absolutely nothing to show for it, for the exception of some NFC South t-shirts. And I just want people to understand that. That's all. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything else other than I expect this team to get over the hump. And I'm just tired of watching this team lose games the same exact way. I mean, just think about it, folks. If that field goal kicker would have made that field goal, it would have just been the same thing. It would have been rinse and repeat of the San Francisco game, right? It was George Kittle making a catch on 4th and 2, you know what I'm saying, carrying C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Marcus Williams down the field to set up a Robbie Gould field goal. I mean, tell me if you have seen this movie before, because I have. And that's all I'm saying. That's my only point. And I'm not – I know, you know what I'm saying, I'm not as animated here this morning during the State of the Saints podcast, but I just feel like, you know, everybody was kind of, kind of on edge yesterday. Everybody was kind of frustrated, but we're just going to have a little bit of a talk, man. Not so much of, the high energy type show. This is going to be one of those shows where, I'm answering your questions, of course, and just going to keep it as mellow as I can, unless something happens, and then I'm going to have to just throw that statement out of the window. Busco Game in the House says, that great win for the Saints last night. I think that was a win for the Saints last night. Great is a little bit of a stretch, in my opinion. Like yesterday, they came back from 17 points down. Yesterday, they battled back, but you have to ask your question. You have to ask the question why, right? Why were you in that hole? What happened for you to be in that hole? What caused you to be in that hole? And like I said, I look at the entire game, okay? I just look at everything. I don't just look at the results at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't. None of us was happy, but a win is a win. Yeah, none of us were happy. Yeah, a win is a win, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about the limitations that they have. I'm not going to pretend, because that's not how I'm wired. Tamisha, I'm just not. I'm not wired like that. I'm not wired to come up in here and just change my entire mindset just because the Saints got the W. It was a bad performance. It was a bad performance that could have easily got you beaten. Let's see. Octavia says we have taken a step backwards. Yeah, man. I honestly think that the Saints really missed the fans. I really do. I think that this is one of those teams that are wired by the fans. Okay. The energy throughout the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, you know what I'm saying? The chant of who that, being as loud as they possibly can, giving these guys the energy to fly all over the field. And I just think that anybody that thinks that fans and the crowd noise is not a factor when it comes to the Saints, I just think that we're playing ourselves, man. I don't think that it's a coincidence that most of the teams in the NFL are struggling defensively. I really don't. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it has a lot to do with no fans in the stands, and it's given these offenses opportunities to do things that they normally wouldn't do in a away venue. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're able to hit a snap count. You're able to, like go through your progressions. You don't have to worry about a silent snap. So this is working in the favor of a lot of teams. This is nothing but a glorified scrimmage, to be honest with you. It's just a glorified scrimmage. Who that for life? Chris Field says, be honest with yourself. Who that nation? This wasn't a win. It was a loss. Win is win mentality, like participation trophies. Yeah, like I said, it was a win nevertheless, Chris. No doubt about that. But it's just one of those things. I'm just not satisfied. I'm just not. I can't settle for mediocrity. I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to be mediocre today. I don't think anybody does that, right? You don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be mediocre today. I'm going to give a half-ass effort, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to let the chip fall where they may. You're not going to do that, right? You're going to go out there and try to put on your best performance, okay? Today is Tuesday. You woke up probably with a new lease on life, you know what I'm saying? You ready to take on the world. Whatever situation come your way, you feel like you're ready and prepared for it. That's the way you're supposed to approach life. You don't approach life trying to be mediocre. Think about this. You don't want a mediocre car. You don't want a mediocre job. You don't want a mediocre wife or husband. You don't want a mediocre house. You want the best of the best. You want the creme de la creme. Okay. And I know sometimes, it might be expecting too much to want perfection all the time. But I just feel like these situations when what happens with the New Orleans Saints are happening way too frequently. And I just think that, it's almost like putting cologne on a musty body. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, like, you still musty. You just covered it up, you know what I'm saying, using some Calvin Klein some, you know what I'm saying, some red cologne, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all basically what you're doing. Some polo red. That's all you're doing. You're disguising the stench with cologne. Okay. But at the end of the day, if you get a little closer to the person, you can still tell that they stink. Okay. And sometimes when you combine the musk with the cologne, it's an even worse odor. So we can't sit up here and try to put cologne on a musty body and pretend like these situations are not happening, folks. That's all I'm saying, man. But I am happy about the win. Oh, no doubt about that. Pentagon says nobody is giving the Chargers defense enough credit. They gave KC and Tampa Bay a hard time, and they came out with ugly wins. No, it's not the fact that I'm not giving them credit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, like this, and I said it on a pregame show last night. I said that this team is very underrated. They're always in games. I mean, I even mentioned the Kansas City and the Tampa Bay game. This is a team that goes out there and they battle for 60 minutes. And you know what I'm saying? As you can see, they even battle in overtime. This team right here, when they start winning, this is going to be a force to be reckoned with out there in the AFC West. I got a lot of respect for Anthony Lynn and his team and Justin Herbert. They did a really good job, man. But the Saints offensive line, which I feel like is not getting enough credit, they did a really good job last night. I think Ryan Ramczyk did a good job on Joey Bosa. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Joey Bosa got a sack, but that was mostly on Andrews Pete, to be honest with you, man. He spent off of Ryan Ramczyk in order for him to get to Drew Brees. But if you can see, like Andrews Pete was supposed to chip. He was supposed to actually chip Joey Bosa, and he did not. You know what I'm saying? Joey Bosa was able to get right past him. So, and then on top of that, man, I mean, that's iron sharpen iron right there. I mean, can y'all imagine like how many battles Joey Bosa and Ryan Ramczyk had in college? These guys went up against one another in college, so they're familiar with one another, and both of those guys get the best of one another. So, I mean, that's all pro on all pro. So, I mean, may the best man win. But the defense, they did a really good job, man. All they did was play. They played a lot of zone last night for the Chargers, but when Drew Brees noticed what they was doing, he was able to dissect them and pick them apart. Drew Brees was willing and dealing in the second half. They couldn't stop. Like they could. There was nothing they can possibly do. Excuse me. There was nothing they can possibly do to stop Drew Brees. Nothing. So I give them credit though. But at the same time, I mean, I just think that in my humble and honest opinion, I just feel like the Saints are a better team than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay, at this stage, okay? I mean, Tampa Bay is 3-2, but they still working some things out when it comes to chemistry and trying to put all of those pieces together. The Saints have been together collectively for about 3 to 4 years. I mean, you have some new people in place, some old Saints players, you know what I'm saying, that went on to different teams, but for the most part, this is the same guys, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like they should be ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why wide receivers always falling down after catches? I don't know, man. I think something was wrong with that turf last night. I think something was definitely wrong with the turf. It seemed like everybody was slipping. You know, Benny Fowler, he slipped. Taysom Hill, he slipped. Traquan Smith, he slipped. So I just think that maybe something was wrong with the turf, and maybe the cleats that they were wearing didn't support like the type of, you know what I'm saying, turf, or the, you know what I'm saying. I don't know what was going on with that, but everybody was slipping all over the place last night. Let's see. Calvin says defense is soft outside of the front four and CD Dukes. The secondary definitely. I don't even want to call them soft. Like I don't think they soft. They just their technique is bad. I don't think Marshawn Lattimore is soft. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't go up there and make a tackle like that if you soft. I don't think Malcolm Jenkins is soft. I think Malcolm Jenkins is decent, you know what I'm saying, at this stage of his career. Janoris Jenkins definitely not soft. It's just the technique, man. It's just their form is horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just bad all around. And I just don't think that they pay too much attention to the ball. You know what I'm saying? When the ball is in the air, I just think that a defender, at least a defender that's trying to be elite, is going to try to look at the ball and try to locate it somewhere. I seen that pass that Justin Herbert do to Keenan Allen in the back of the end zone. I mean, Marcus Williams didn't even look at the ball. I mean, only thing he was trying to do was drive straight through Keenan Allen. I don't know if he was trying to, you know what I'm saying, dislodge the ball away from him. But I'm like, at that point, he's already got a step or two ahead of you. So what's the worst that can happen if you try to jump in front of him or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the worst that can happen? You deflect the ball, maybe catch an interception or something. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I just think that they need to figure it out, man. Lattimore played the ball perfectly to Mike and can't act for better coverage. Herbert just put the ball in a perfect window to a big body receiver. I mean, yeah, it was good technique and stuff like that, but I don't know, man. When you got guys all around the football, like I don't know. I just feel like you knew it was going to happen. I mean, Lewis Reddick, Bob Greasy, I mean, they knew it. You know what I'm saying? Steve Levy, they all said it. They said, you know, this is going to be one-on-one. They called it out. You know, they called it out. And sure enough, it happened. So I'm like, if y'all calling it out, I know the Saints got a, I don't know. I just don't know. And then on top of that, why are you playing man-to-man coverage with about 40 seconds left on the clock? Why are you doing that? Well, less than 40 seconds on the clock. Why are you playing man-to-man coverage? You want to do nothing cheap, nothing deep. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to play the sidelines and you just open up the middle of the field. Okay? So you want to play the sidelines to make sure that they don't get out because everybody knows that if you catch a ball, you go out of bounds, that's just another timeout, right? So play the sidelines, keep the middle of the field open, you know what I'm saying? Tackle them to the ground, cause them to force them to use their timeouts. Don't give them nothing cheap and just keep it moving. But why are you playing man coverage in a situation like that? Like I said, man, like I get it, man. You got guts. You're tough. I get it. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. Like you want to build character. You want to build morale. I'm all for that. But at certain points, you just got to be smart, man. You just got to be smart. Because when you're doing man coverage, you're actually leaving your cornerback to be susceptible to possibly getting smoked. Okay, and you're opening yourself up for a big play. So I just feel like the coverage was just bad. Hot garbage, thank you very much for the $2. Says I'm still way better than your cornerbacks. Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, the secondary is definitely a hot garbage at this point. But I just think that these guys, if they were to go somewhere else, I think they would be much better. It just seems like these coaches just bring out the worst in these players. I just don't get it. Andrews Pete is the weak link on our offensive line. Yeah, when it comes to pass protection, he is. When we're talking about running the football, he's not. He's a much better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. Problem is the Saints want to throw the football all over the place, so it don't play to his strength. Marcus hasn't been right since the Minnesota Miracle. Nah, I disagree with that. He actually had a good season last season. Probably was one of his best seasons. Just I don't know, man. I just think that this team is just wired differently. Some guys can go out there, they can bring their own energy, they can be hyped, they can be excited, they can be fired up, they can go out there and be looking forward to playing. And then you need other people out there that need crowd support and people singing their praises and stuff like that. So maybe this is one of those teams. Maybe if we get some more people into the Superdome and they're cheering and saying hooray to them, maybe they'll play better. It looks like the secondary were playing the receivers and not the ball. Yeah, they look straight at the receivers. They look straight at the receivers. Like, honestly, if you're looking straight at the receiver and you got your back turned, they're going to call pass interference every time, right? They're going to call it every time. As soon as the referee sees the back of your jersey and they see you going towards a receiver or put your hand up, they're going to call pass interference. They're going to call it right then and there. Like, they're not going to waste any time. No matter if you touch them or not, they're going to be under the impression that you caused that receiver to not have an opportunity to catch the football. The technique is just horrible. Like I said, you got to locate the ball. You got to play the ball. Like they played to tackle the guy. That's the thing. They play to tackle the guy. It's like, okay, he's going to catch the ball, so I want to tackle him. Okay, but it's like you have an opportunity to turn around, possibly catch an interception. So I just think that maybe it's the coaching, man. At this point, I just think that it's time for Aaron Glenn to exit stage left. I just think that it's time for maybe a new voice in that secondary room, coach these guys. Look, Aaron Glenn has given these guys a lot of confidence, has given these guys a lot of swag, you know, allowed these guys to kind of let their personality show in practice and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as his technique and teaching that, I mean, it's just been absolutely horrible. I just think that it's time to get somebody else in here to coach this secondary. It looks like the secondary were playing the receivers and not the ball. I already read that. Kent says, let Marcus walk free agents when season ends. Yeah, I just think that this is his last season in the Saints uniform anyway. I feel like anything he's doing right now is building towards him in free agency. They're not going to sign him back. TJ calling out the defense, but what about Sean and Drew throwing all over the field? 47 passes from Drew instead of running the ball, 25 runs. What defense wouldn't be tired behind that? VB, I'm gonna call out who I feel like is responsible for this. Okay, the defense played bad. The defense played absolutely horrible. For the exception of the front four and Demario Davis. Okay, those were the bright spots of the defense. The secondary did not look good. All right, they did not look good. And as far as Drew Brees throwing the ball 47 times when you're down by 17 points, it's very little that you can do in a running game because you're playing behind the 8 ball. You're trying to get yourself back into the game, and throwing the ball 47 times is like, let's just be honest about this. Drew Brees isn't throwing the ball down the field consistently. So those 47 times, we know a lot of dinking and dunking. We know it's a lot of like time precision passes and stuff like that. The Saints going on 8-9 play drives and stuff like that. 7 out of those 9 plays probably going to be passing plays because you're trying to get back into the game. All right. If this was one of those games where it was probably competitive, it was one of those games where names were like, really, really wasn't working in a favor of the, of the team. Well, let me take that back. I got distracted looking at something else. But if this was one of those games that was nip and tuck, you probably would have seen more running plays. But when you're playing from behind, it's very little you can do in a running game because you have a sense of urgency at that point. So I don't think if this was one of those games where it was like nip tuck throughout, 10-10, 13-13, something like that, and you're not running the football, then maybe we can have an argument. But at this particular point, they were trying to play catch up. I think that the Saints will play better after the bye. Well, I mean, we've been saying that for weeks. We said after the Tampa game. We said at the Vegas game. We said at the Buccaneers game. The Packers game. We said after the Detroit game. So I'm just wondering, like, when are they going to get better? Or maybe we're just seeing what we going to get this entire season. Maybe that's it. P-Rob eyes are horrible. Yeah, I mean, as good as he did last week, that is one of the reasons why, I stood up here and said, as good as he played, I don't want to see him, being out there, as a starting corner for the foreseeable future. I don't, what I'm saying? You have one game. It's almost like, a spare tire, right? You don't want to keep the spare tire on your car, right? The spare tire is just used until you go to the tire shop and get it replaced. Like you don't want to keep on rolling on a spare tire. You know what I'm saying? A spare tire is not designed for you to just constantly roll on it. It's just for you to run and roll a couple miles until you get the tire fixed. That is what Patrick Robinson is. You know what I'm saying? That's what PJ Williams is. You know what I'm saying? These guys aren't guys that you want to have in your secondary on the outside on a consistent basis because they're liabilities. Okay, so that these guys are nickel corners at best. So I mean, I would say that I'm surprised that it happened, but I'm not. TJ, do you still think getting Earl Thomas is a good idea? Me, I'm open to anything that can help. Yeah, anything that can help this team get better. I'm really up. You know what I'm saying? I'm up for it. And I just think that the Saints need to take a really good look at what they have on the field. I really do. I think they need to take a really good look. It needs to start with having DJ Swearinger in the rotation. I don't know why they don't put this guy in. He plays with a lot of confidence. He's a big hitter. He seems like he always around the ball, but they always putting him on the sidelines once PJ Williams come back in, and they put him in a hoodie, or they put him on special teams. Like DJ Swearinger is a good safety, man. I mean, we wouldn't even have DJ Swearinger if it wasn't for injuries. He was good for the Redskins. He was good for the Arizona Cardinals. He was good for the Texans. So everywhere this guy has went, this guy has been a force. And I just don't get why they don't want to use him. But I mean, I have an idea. It's because the Saints like to hold on to these same guys, okay? A lot of lazy coaching going on in New Orleans. They don't want to try to instill all of this knowledge and stuff like that into players that are probably better than the players that have been here for years. Okay, I don't know what you're going to see out of PJ Williams that you haven't seen. Okay, at this particular point, PJ is who he is. But if you get a young guy in here who probably have better skills, better ball skills, better instincts, better coverage skills than a PJ Williams, than a Patrick Robinson, maybe you can go out here and develop. But a lot of lazy coaching. That's just like with Adam Trautman. I don't even think Adam Trautman played in this game at all. Instead of you coaching this guy up and make sure that he's ready for all type of situations, you chose to go out here and just get guys. Well, he's not ready for this yet. Let's just go ahead and go with these guys. Well, you need to start asking a question. Why isn't this guy ready? Why isn't this guy prepared? Maybe it's your coaching. Maybe it's your coaching. Why is it that some of these other players out here, these young rookie players, they didn't have OTAs, they didn't have mini camp, they didn't have all these offseason activities that we normally would see in a regular NFL season, but they're still out there playing. They're still out there battling. They're still out there making mistakes, but they're learning from those mistakes. The New Orleans Saints are lazy. They're lazy, man, and they don't want to take the time to try to develop these players and put these guys in positions to succeed, okay? You got Marquez Callaway, you know what I'm saying, that's out there, you know what I'm saying? He's getting better from week to week, but you can tell at the same time the Saints didn't even want to use him for the, you know what I'm saying, for a couple games. I don't know if he caught 2 passes and maybe Drew went to Sean and said, well, let's use this kid a little bit more. I like him. But it shouldn't even have gotten to that point. If you're drafting a guy or you select a guy as a rookie, undrafted free agent, you should have confidence that this guy can perform if you have him on the field. Put these guys in position to succeed, and if they're not succeeding, maybe it's your coaching staff. Maybe you don't have the right coaches in place to make sure that these guys get what they need in order for them to be successful. We need to sign Earl Thomas, and I also noticed PJ Williams as safety on some snaps. Why? Kirkland is very simple. PJ Williams is not fast, okay? He has very, well, let me take that back. He doesn't have good recovery speed. He has the speed almost of a safety, and he's a really good tackler. So that's a recipe for a safety right there, right? A good tackler, or even though, you know, we talk about Marcus Williams, is supposed to be a good tackler that's not really fast, but, you know what I'm saying, and also can be the last line of defense and be an eraser. PJ Williams, I mean, if he keeps people in front of him, he's fine. And most of the time, safeties have guys that are in front of them because, you know, they're the last line of defense. Their job is to rub the guy out if the, you know what I'm saying, if the cornerback gets smoked. You know what I'm saying? If the receiver gets behind the cornerback, it's the safety job to serve as that eraser and make up for what the cornerback did or the mistake that he made. So that's the reason why. And I think that's a perfect place for PJ Williams. I think it's a perfect spot for him. I think he's a much better safety, and he would be a much better safety than he would be a corner. I think him playing corner all those years actually hurt him. Ricky says, TJ, what's going on with Zach Bourne and Trautman? I seen Zach Bourne on one play on third down. That was a blitz in a NASCAR package tonight, you know, or last night. I don't know, man. Like I said, I just think that there's a lot of lazy coaching going on out here. They don't want to take the time out to try to get these other guys prepared. I think we talk about Sean Payton all the time. We talk about how Sean Payton is lazy, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to certain things. He only focuses on certain players. And I really just feel like it just doesn't just stop with the play calling. I think it stopped with his coach. I mean, it's also with his coaching as well. I think he doesn't have the patience to develop these players. Okay. I mean, he just doesn't, because he rather roll with guys. Okay, this guy's been in our system 5 years. This guy's been in our system 6 years. Oh, we can bring back Tommy Lee Lewis. Oh, we can bring back Ken Crawley. Oh, we can bring back this guy. I mean, he played for us. He understands the system. Well, if the guy didn't have what it takes before, then why are you bringing him back? And why are you withholding the knowledge and stunting the growth of some of these young players that can be assets? I mean, you can talk about Alan Trautman all you want to. Maybe he is a little green. But you put this guy on a goal line, you don't think he has what it takes in order for you to catch, you know what I'm saying, to catch a touchdown in a red zone? I fail to believe that. I really do. I fail to believe that Adam Trautman can't be a goal line threat. I fail to believe that this guy can't do some of the things that Josh Hill is doing. The problem is Josh Hill been doing it for so long, and you have this allegiance to Josh Hill that you want to make sure that Josh Hill gets his. You're neglecting a guy that you drafted in the 3rd round that can be one of those guys down the line, can be one of the best tight ends in football. But all you got to do is just instill some knowledge in him and have some confidence in him. What kind of confidence do you think this guy has? The fact that you're playing against the Los Angeles Chargers and you're like, okay, I'm going to roll with Hill. I'm going to roll with Griffin, and I'm going to roll with Jared Cook. What kind of faith do you think that guy has that you're going to put him in the right place to succeed? What do you think that's doing to his confidence? What do you think is doing, like when Jared Cook went out with a groin injury and this was his opportunity to step up and you didn't even look his way not one time? Like, what do you think was happening with his confidence? These guys want to make sure that you're investing in them and you believe in them. But if you don't, then what's the point of drafting them in the first place? I mean, sometimes you got to take the good with the bad sometimes. Like, I mean, it can't be any worse than what we've seen. Honestly, it can't be any worse. I mean, the secondary already out there giving up big plays. So what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen with Zach Bond? I mean, what he don't get to the quarterback? I mean, we seen that, you know what I'm saying, from the front 4 a couple of times, you know what I'm saying, late in games. I mean, what could possibly happen? Adam Trautman, you know what I'm saying, run a bad route. Well, Emmanuel Sanders, at the beginning of the season, he was running bad routes, right? But he learned. And it came with repetition and chemistry. So give these guys an opportunity to shine. Give these guys an opportunity to go out there and perform, man. Don't stunt the growth of these guys trying to be loyal to some of these guys that just don't have it. They just don't. I think it has a lot to do with the complexity and sometimes over complexity of both our O and D. So many packages and nuances that they don't trust rookies. That can have a lot to do with it. But Jonathan, this is the thing. We seen Alvin Kamara come in 2017 and start playing right away. We seen that, right? We seen him play right away. All right, and for a few weeks, he wasn't out there balling out. He wasn't. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't out there balling out. And Sean Payton went there and said, "It's my fault. It's my fault that Alvin Kamara isn't getting involved in his offense. It's my fault that Alvin Kamara isn't winning his matchups." And what did he do? He took the time out to develop an offensive scheme that focused on Alvin Kamara's strengths. And the rest is history. Okay? Offensive Rookie of the Year, one of the most explosive players in all the NFL right now. So it tells me right there that if Sean Payton is willing to go out here and draw up plays for these guys, if he has the confidence in the guys the way that he has the confidence in Alvin Kamara, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. I don't think it's the complexity of the offense or the defense. I just think that it's their unwillingness to make sure that these guys are on the field. You rather get that play to somebody that's been in the system for a long time because, well, I don't have to tell this person, okay? I don't have to tell this person what to do. But the person that you probably are neglecting probably can do it much better than that person if you teach them, all right? So I just feel like you're stunting the growth. Anybody that's like in business, you know what I'm saying? I like to use a lot of examples in retail because that's what I did back in the day. You know what I'm saying? As a store manager, you know, you have those people out there that's been there for 5 to 10 years. They've been your loyal employees. You ask them to do something, they get it done right away, right? You know what I'm saying? They know what to do before you even have to ask them. They're looking for things that they know that you want to see. You know what I'm saying? They look for things. They clean things up. But lo and behold, there's an opening. And you get that young person in there. And that young person, you know what I'm saying, that don't really know the business as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is your job to make sure that young kid be trained up and have the knowledge, the same type of knowledge as that 5 to 10 year veteran. And you don't just call on the veteran because you're like, well, this veteran, he can get it done. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to teach this young kid nothing, man. I ain't got no time for that. Let me just go ahead and call on this guy. You're stunning the growth. So if that guy goes out there and he doesn't perform well, how can you hold that guy accountable? How can you seriously hold this guy accountable the same way that you will hold a guy that's been in your business for 5 to 10 years that have been under your umbrella that long? You can't. And it's your fault. It's your fault that you didn't develop the guy. It's your fault that you didn't take the time out to make sure that this guy has everything that he needs, the tools to succeed. So if you're not teaching these guys, if you're not taking the time out and you understand that your offense is complex, because let's just be honest, folks, a lot of why a lot of players don't get drafted by teams because coaches and organizations feel like maybe that player can't pick it up. So you already got the confidence that this guy can eventually get it. So why are you not taking the time out to make sure that he does get it? Why are you going out here focusing on what you have right here when you have a guy that's just ready, like a sponge, ready to absorb everything that you have and apply it to his game? I don't know. I don't know. I agree with Hill. It's just like the Taysom package. He comes in to block. He is not a threat in the passing game at all. I think Trautman has a ton of potential, but they will misuse him. I won't say they're going to misuse him. I just think they're not using him enough. That's just my honest opinion about that. I think they don't use him enough. I think they need to do a better job at using him. Maybe start him off in goal line situations, you know what I'm saying? Put him out there, give him the Kyle Rudolph treatment. You know, Kyle Rudolph at this stage of his career, he's mostly like a red zone threat for the Minnesota Vikings. Use him like that, okay? Use him as a red zone threat, you know, and then like gradually start to like, you know, develop his skills and have him as a integral part of the passing game. I feel like if you have Jared Cook, who we know is not afraid to go get the football, and you have Adam Trautman, you can have yourself a Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez type connection there. And I think that would help the Saints more so than actually hinder them. Michael Thomas should be good for at least 3 more first downs. Yeah, I really think so, man. I think that Emmanuel Sanders is cooking right now, and hopefully when Michael Thomas come back, they can really do some damage. At least Davenport played well. Yeah, Davenport did a good job, man. One bull rush, got a couple hurries. You know, I mean, he had opportunity to get some sacks, so that's positive, man. But I mean, his ability was never in question. It was just not being on the field. So if he can stay healthy and go out there and perform, then I think we should be okay. Bet those Kamara haters regret what they said about the man. Yeah, I agree. The man said he was injured, and I think he's proven his theory to be true. I think that we need to take it for what it was. He was injured, and now he's playing at a whole nother level. They want Adam to polish his blocking skills. Then the passing game will be there. Well, let me just say this. If he's a pass catching tight end, shouldn't you use him as a pass catcher? I mean, that didn't stop you from using Jimmy Graham, right? Did it not? Jimmy Graham didn't know how to block, but he was a tight end, and the Saints still found ways to use Jimmy. So why can't you use this guy the same way? I mean, he's a guy who can catch the ball over the middle. He's not afraid to catch it in traffic. He's not afraid to go up and get it. So I don't know if I can accept that. I mean, if he can't block, fine. You know what I'm saying? Like if he needs help with his blocking skills, fine. But like I said, that's why you use him in a red zone. That's why you use him in a red zone. So right now, T-Rex is outplaying Davenport by a lot and stays healthy. Not only is he outplaying Davenport, he's outplaying Cam Jordan when it comes to getting to the quarterback. I think that in run support, Cam Jordan is one of the best in the league, which I don't think people are paying attention to because we all know when it comes to defensive ends, the only thing that they get critiqued on is sacks. You know, we don't talk about run support and run defense and all that kind of stuff. We don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't talk about you know what I'm saying, making sure that you maintaining your gaps and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? Like we don't talk about that stuff. Like we don't talk about guys, you know what I'm saying, tackling running backs. But that is a job of a defensive end, and a lot of defensive ends don't do that well. They can sack the quarterback, but they can't, like, you know, stop the run like Cam Jordan can. I'm going to read a few more, folks, and I'm going to get up out of here. Jonathan says, but let's look on the bright side. We're 3-2 and first in the South, and we have a bye week to get healthy. Who that? Well, yeah, I mean, there's a bright side. There's a silver lining to these dark clouds, no doubt about that. But I just wanted to see the team play better. That's all I want. I just want the team to play better. I just want them to perform better. I just want to see a better product on the field. I want these guys to play much better because they are better than what they've been showing over the last few weeks. Saints need another secondary coach. They're getting beat with bad technique. I agree. And the Falcons just imploded. Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure like right now they're going to do a complete overhaul of the team. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to take a couple games, try to be in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, that's a train wreck right now. I mean, Arthur Blank even came out there and said we'll see when it comes to the future of Matt Ryan. Yeah, so wouldn't it be crazy though? What if Matt Ryan leaves the Atlanta Falcons and end up playing for the Saints? Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be crazy, man? If Drew Brees retires and Sean Payton just be like, okay, let's go get Matt Ryan. Panthers lose to Packers, Bucks lose to Vegas. We are set up. Yeah. Let's get Julio. Nah, I can see Julio possibly going to the Patriots. I can see that happening. Big Nuts Lutz will get us out of a lot of games. A lot of teams don't have that. Yeah, that guy's clutch, man. Call him Will. That's why I call him Will Clutch. But I want to say thank you all very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Final thoughts. I know that this was one of those shows where it was kind of laid back, man. I didn't want to keep the energy up way too high, man. I think yesterday, everybody was kind of, frustrated about, even though we got the win, of what they saw on the field. Some people wasn't, but nevertheless, man, it's good to have conversations about the team and look forward to better games ahead. The Saints have a bye week. Get guys healthy. Guys can go out there, maybe, get away for a little while, decompress, and get back to it. Hopefully Michael Thomas will be back, no issues there. And hopefully we can get Janoris Jenkins back, and maybe we can get to some of these other guys like Kiko Alonso and some of these other players that have been dealing with injuries, throughout the offseason. Hopefully we can get some of those guys back, and the Saints can go out there and play to their full potential. I don't know if the Saints are going to make any moves in free agency. I don't know if any Earl Thomas talks are going to be taking place. But the Saints have to figure it out in the secondary, okay? I mean, the front four of the New Orleans Saints are getting pressure, but it just seems like if they're not getting home, it's big plays, it's bombs away, okay? I mean, and we have to make sure that we're not having issues like that in the future, because once again, if we don't fix these issues, man, we're going to have some troubles down the line, and we might end up, disguising it. It might end up being some victories working in our favor because, we got leadership like Drew Brees. It's not a defense that he hasn't seen. He's know how to, dissect the defense. I mean, he'll keep us in games, but I don't want it to cost us when it matters most. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about. But please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints Podcast. Also on Facebook, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints Podcast. And previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Anchor FM. Please take the time out, take a few seconds of your time, and subscribe to one of those streaming apps. I appreciate the people that have subscribed, but we definitely need some more. So I'm asking for your help. If you want to help the State of the Saints podcast grow, if you want to make sure that we're able to get out there and people, this show is getting more exposure, then I'm just asking you to just take a few seconds to make sure that you follow on the streaming app. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?